When the when the lottery gets up to 200 or 300 million, it's fun to be one of the people that's looking at the TV when they're picking the numbers and all that. That part of it is just kind of an entertainment thing.
Yeah, in the mix. You know what they say, you got to be in it to win it, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing it as a little flutter, but some people, they were relying on that. So they started spending 20 plus, 50 plus pounds a week, or their craziness, on the, oh my God, I've got to win. This week it could be me type thing. And some people get so paranoid that they don't want to change their numbers and they don't want to miss a week. Because it's, you know what they say, it's always the week that you missed is the week that you could have won.
Exactly.
So they're like paranoid on it, like, we have to do that. So people, I'm just putting it out there because I know some people are really, I've been seeing the posts and stuff, about people saying, oh God, they're really taking liberties now because they're changing everything and they're just making it less and less likely for people to win. Because obviously the whole point of it is for people to win big. They ain't trying to win a couple of thousand.
Right.
They want to win big, so they have to work
millions. They want £1 million. They don't want a couple of thousand.
Just in case, so that if they choose not to work ever again, they have that option, isn't it? But the way that things are happening, people, I just wanted to leave, that little lighter note before we go to break, because the song going into break. Wow. More money, more problems. That is the theme of today's show. With you taking out a payday loan, you better think about it, people. Enjoy this next track, because he had some wisdom in his age, didn't he? B.I.G. Yeah, big problems. Oh dear, let's go.
Was that your B.I.G. voice? Big problems. I heard you change your voice.
People, we are going to break. We will be right back on the other side after this. Hi, this is Avani, UK Soul Queen Diva, and you're tuned into the Ask Avani Show on the Get Global Network. Good afternoon and welcome back. This is the Ask Avani Show, people. If you're just joining us today, where have you been? Today's show topic has been very funny. Okay, it's serious
sad funny. Sad funny.
Yeah,
sad funny.
Like it's serious, but sometimes as well, you're just like, oh my God, you have to laugh at certain things. I'm just going to reset the show just in case you have just joined us. It is payday loans. Would you really want to work for this type of company, whether it be as a customer service advisor or even as a bailiff in general? Now, people, that's a question I really want you to tell us what you think. Or does the old saying hold true? Neither a borrower nor a lender be. Because I just wonder, man, as far as I'm concerned, I'm keeping myself to myself. I ain't trying to make nobody give me no payday loan. I don't want to mess with their crazy interest. The crazy interest rates alone would be enough to put me off personally. I'm just like, okay, you know what? Let me just do without. Okay. Because in my mind, I have said this and people may think, oh, she is anti-Christmas. No. I just don't believe in spending money you ain't got for that. Just make sure you got a roof over your head and food in your gut and you can keep warm. The rest of it is all, you can just deal with that as you go along, people. Okay. Don't worry about that. Don't be trying to mess with following the Joneses as well. Because look, they ain't interested in you when they're eating their big massive turkey under their big Christmas tree. Don't worry with them. You do your own thing.
Well, and that's the thing that as we've been doing the show, that's something that I hope people take from the show. And if you're listening to the podcast or the replay, and there are different thoughts when people have children, which is the other part of this. Children adds a layer of responsibility to your life, but with that responsibility, you should be hopefully teaching them to be responsible.
Absolutely. But again, as you said, everyone does things differently, so that's what's gonna end up being sort of like that thought process. But I have to say, sometimes you have to ask yourself about the thought process that you have. And you can't worry about anyone else. Do what you've got to do for yourself. And obviously, if you feel you need to, take out a loan, please try and make it not a payday one. Let's put it like that, because it's some serious things. And and the reason I will even say that, because this next story that I want to share with you, Link 26 K-Rose, this is over here in the UK. It was a homeless couple. Now, they were forced to live in their Ford Focus car after their payday loans debt spiraled out of control. Now, okay, they were working. Okay, this guy, and it's such a sad story because they were working. They had, the guy had a better job. The lady's job wasn't so good, but they were working and they were doing okay. But basically, he got sick and he had to take time off work to have an operation. And he tried to claim benefit while he was recovering, but then he finally lost his job because he was too ill to return back to work, and he was doing a physically demanding job. I think he was like a tree surgeon or something like that. So basically, they started to struggle for money. They tried to survive on his wife's really small wage, and it was really small. And then they were on benefits. And then, you see, we could go into a whole new thing about what happens when people try and work when they're on benefits and all this, because if you have to declare it, they take with one hand, and oh God, it's a mess basically. So they never had no money, put it like that. And finally, in desperation, big desperation, they decided to take out the payday loan to try and help bridge the gap. That's when their problems really got worse, because they couldn't keep up with the repayments for that. And they were eventually evicted from their home because obviously they couldn't keep up with their rent as well. So, I mean, it's so sad for them, isn't it? And have you ever heard the saying that, most people are usually one paycheck away from being homeless? And I'm sorry, that is so true.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God. And it's so bad. It shouldn't be that way, should it? Because they even do surveys on this, and people will say, yeah, you know what? I realized if I lost my job, I would probably only be able to pay my rent for the next month or so, and then I would be struggling and getting into debt, and then maybe run the risk of losing my home. Can you imagine that?
Well, but how do we change that thought process? How do we give people try, and not necessarily an absolute fix, but how do we encourage them to change? And what is something we can say, hey, try this? Government. Okay, I'm going to lay the blame firstly at government and wages door, right? They need to start paying more money up in there. You guys already know I've got my work from home crusade, but I've also got my minimum wage crusade, as in I think they need to up the money. People need to be paid more. As if they want to do it a minimum per hour, that's fine. I reckon it should be at least £10 an hour. I've said it. I put it out there. You know how we do. This is the Ask Avani Show, and I'm just going to be real and tell you. I think they need to start paying more money. That's number one. Because if people are earning more money, then they should be able to start to help to sort themselves out, and they shouldn't need to go to these payday loan types of things, isn't it? Because they're going to be making more money in the first place. This is where all the problems start. When you're struggling for money, and then your bills start getting on top of you. If you can't even cover your basics, you're in big trouble, aren't you? And the basics include your house, your food, your utilities, things like that, your water, your electric, your gas, things like that. That's your basics. If your job does not even pay for you to be able to do that, come on now, what's the point? Well, that is a starting point. And so, I mean, to me and to those listeners that are out there, we need to be telling the government, yeah, we do want the minimum wage increased in our countries.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I will say it, and I will say it. And I know people are out there listening. People, if you believe this is true and you agree, please let me know. Holler at me, as they say, at Ask Avani Show on Twitter. Because you already know how I feel about this Chancellor that we got, Mr. George Osborne. Yes, I'm naming and shaming him again, just for those out around the world who don't know who he is. The UK Chancellor at present is George Osborne, and he is getting way too trigger happy with his housing benefit cuts. More and more people are becoming homeless. I mean, you already know, guys. I've told you, I've been homeless in the past too, so I know it ain't no joke. I'm talking for real, okay? And this is only going to keep happening and getting worse now, because this guy is on some seriousness. We just shared that story about the homeless couple. They've been forced to live in their car, right? Now, come on. If they didn't have the car, they would be on the street. On the street.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either.
Yeah, if they didn't have the car, it's bad enough that you got to live in your car. And I imagine you don't have a car, because obviously, that's what happens when people get really destitute and down and out. They don't even have a car to cover their head.
And that's a decision. They had to make a decision probably to keep that car if they still have to pay for it. It may be paid for. But they may have had to make the decision, do we pay for the car or do we pay for the...
Yeah, because we're losing one. We're going to lose one or the other. We know that they're coming to evict us. So maybe, as you say, maybe the car was paid for because it's only a little car. Maybe they paid for that already, so they had it and it's theirs. But that's all they've got left now. And if you see the pictures in the article, people, oh my goodness. It's been, all their stuff is in the back of this little car. They've got no. I think they spent their anniversary in their car. I mean, that's so upsetting to me. That's just wow. And I even mentioned it on Twitter again. You know, I seem to be a little bit happy at sometimes that I get a bit overboard. But I'm sorry. I'm saying it, and I'm going to mention it, and I put it out on Twitter to say that, you know, the recession is not over. Again, we've already mentioned earlier today, haven't we, that companies over here now are starting to shed jobs again. You know, Redcar, Tata Steel. This is not just a couple of jobs, you know, or even a couple of hundred, as we already said. It's going into the thousands again. Redcar, 1,700 jobs. Tata Steel, like 1,200 jobs. That's the type of thing we were seeing in a recession. Every week, a company was starting to say, oh, we're cutting jobs, we're cutting jobs, we're cutting jobs. I'm seeing that again. And they keep saying, oh, the recession is over. It ain't over, people. It's not over. You know, and it's really worrying me, the things that I'm seeing and looking at and thinking, wow. And again, when I do my research, people, I do try and find all these, you know, different articles and topics and things to illustrate the points that I may be trying to make. And Link 27, K-Rose. The government's housing benefit cuts will increase homelessness. And this is a given. Okay, we know this. Okay, because major charities are actually saying this, right? So basically, you know that that means more and more people are going to be made homeless, whether they can do anything about it, i.e. pay more money or not.
Right.
Do you see what I mean? Because it depends on how far in debt they are, if you see what I mean. So if you get to that crunch point, if they say to you, right, well, you've got 3 weeks or something like that to pay your total debt. Hello? Most people ain't going to be able to do that.
Well, ask a millionaire if they could pay their total debt in 3 weeks. Most of them probably couldn't do it.
Exactly. So this is just goes to show that that's what they do. They hammer you down to that last bit, and then they say, right, that's it, done. And they know for a fact you won't be able to pay it, so they're just waiting to come and evict you, basically. Mm-hmm. You know, so and I had to do some I had to do a shout out the other day. I had to do it because on Twitter to a company over here that I'd never even heard of until I saw this news article. Actually, I think it was Caritas Anchor House, and basically this is an organisation that helps homeless people. I'd never heard of them. They're based in North London. I'd never heard of them, and I had to say, wow, because the government, you know what the government are doing to them? They raised a lot of money so they could build this complex so that they could let people move in. Homeless people could move in while they sort out this. So it's almost like having having their own home again until they can go back out into the world and like either rent a normal, you know, like a proper property or buy their house again, right?
Right.
And I remember looking at that and I remember thinking, wow, that's amazing. I'd never heard of them. They raised millions to build this development of properties, right? And you know what this UK government's doing to them? They're charging them. The HMRC is hammering them with a massive, massive tax bill, which means they've got to put that development on hold now because they can't afford to pay the tax bill and do the development. Because when they started it, they were told that their tax bill was only going to be like 250,000 or something like that. So how do you go from charging 250,000 to over £1 million? See what I mean?
So they had planned to do their projects based on what they were told their taxes would be.
That's right. And the reason what the HMRC is giving them is saying, oh, well, hold on a second. When you submitted the plans and you told us what you were doing, you called it one thing. But now that we've seen it, sort of thing, we're classing it as something else, and we're telling you that it's going to cost you more, basically.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? Do you see what I mean? And then they're saying they want to help homeless people, but over here, another thing that I must mention this quickly that they've done is, I don't know if you've ever noticed, K-Rose, have you ever noticed like some buildings seem to have like these little studs outside the doorways? Have you ever seen that? I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's like little studs. It's like raised studs on the ground. Now they introduced that. Do you know why they introduced that into the hallways and onto walls and stuff outside properties and doorways and shops and stuff to stop homeless people setting up their little camp sort of overnight and sleeping in doorways? That's why they introduced that. Do you know that?
I don't think I have ever actually seen that. This is new to me.
Spiteful. It's right now, because you know when a homeless person puts like a cardboard box or like a mattress or something down in a doorway or something like that, those spikes, if they put those spikes there now, the person can't do that now because it's uncomfortable for them. So they can't do that. So that's why they put these spikes everywhere, on the walls, on the door, in the doorways and stuff, so people can't sleep there and try and keep warm when they're homeless. And and I just thought, you know what, you lot are so spiteful, but yet you're cutting all the funding for all these places. And I mean, I could go on and on. It drives me nuts when I see this. Link 28, again, we've said that even the charity shelter